Diane Black. I'm the president. I'm at the end of my 2-year term. It's actually a 1 year, but I have done 2. Our fiscal year runs from June the 1st to May the 31st, so we're looking at the end of the year coming up shortly. COVID has been a factor, a major factor in our business. We shut down in 2020 in March, as everybody in the world did, and we didn't open up again until the second week in July. The store had to close because, of course, it services the public, and really everything closed. And then I was elected to start the 1st of June, so the first month we had to have a Zoom meeting. I had never heard of Zoom before. I had to go online and figure out how to get Zoom and use it and whatnot. And our membership all tends to be older, as you could probably see from the ladies. Mostly women join after they've retired because our meetings are during the week, and for some reason we don't tend to draw young people. There is a group called Assist Teens that many of the chapters have, and it's young women who are working. Some, I don't know if they're high school, I would say they're mostly college age. And we used to have some, I think they called it associates, that met on the weekend, and they were women who worked. And I guess attendance got really poor, so they discontinued that. And there has never been Assist Teens here in Colorado Springs. But there's a chapter of Assistance League in Pueblo, here, Greeley, and Denver, and I believe Fort Collins. So Colorado is pretty well saturated, and everybody kind of does their own thing. I mean, occasionally you'll call someone from one of the other chapters and say, well, what do you do with whatever? And when we opened back up after COVID, it was just a matter of brainstorming what we thought our membership would be willing to do in terms of opening. So we opened up with a very reduced schedule. I think we were open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for a few hours, and little by little we've opened up more, but we're still not full time. Before COVID, we were open Monday through Saturday from 10 till 4. And we've opted not to open on Monday just to give us a work day, and we sort through all this and, straighten up the store. And we're open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We've chosen not to open on Wednesday. This bargain box is considered fundraising, but then we have the fun fair, which I mentioned, and we have what we call the Wacky Tea the end of April. It's actually a tea. Members sign up for a table, they decorate the table, set the place settings. It can be the Wizard of Oz. The one year, the lady who did the Wizard of Oz dressed like Auntie M and looked just like Auntie M. It was a hoot. And then we sell tickets to come and have tea, and that's a money maker. And then we have things around artwork, and we have a lady that does baskets, makes the baskets with the assorted goodies inside, and they're fabulous. They're gorgeous baskets. So we sell those, and usually we make $12,000 to $15,000. So it goes in the till to help with the philanthropies that we mentioned, and we return about 70% of the money we bring in to the community, which we're all very proud of. And it was founded by Anne Banning in California in 1919, before World War II. And she felt that families, it was started out as daycare. She felt families needed some help with children if the wife was going back to work. We don't think of women working in the early, around the 20s. But I guess they did. Anyway, it later morphed into what it is today. And each chapter is a little bit different, but we all have the same core values: mission and service and children. And Operation School Bell is a required philanthropy. So each chapter has some form of school bell. The way we did it this year, we we bought with the money. We bought school or shoe gift cards for Famous Footwear, and we bought probably $70,000 worth of gift cards. And then we bought hoodies for junior high and high school. We partnered with United Way, and United Way does coat drives, and they do something online where people can either bring in a coat or purchase a coat online and have it delivered to United Way. We had like 400 or 500 coats that we gave out to elementary school children. And then we had socks and underwear donated, and we bought some pants like sweatshirts and pants for the grade school kids. And then we sorted it all out by size and put it in bags. We served, I believe, 53 schools. We notified the counselors, and then they came to our building on Cimarron. We have another building, and we gave them a bag of clothes that they gave to the children who needed them. The counselors have said they like this better because they have a better chance of serving someone who's really in need, where we used to do it at Kohl's. The kids would be given a date to come and shop, and they could actually go in with their parents and pick these pants and this top and whatnot. And they were given a wristband with the amount they could spend. The high school, I believe, had 100, and junior high had 75, and grade school had 65. And then they would stand in line and go through the register. Well, it was a nightmare. We did this for 3 weeks, every afternoon after school and Saturdays. And by the end of the 3 weeks, the two ladies who were responsible for it were exhausted. We screen school children, preschool children, for hearing. So the lady who is involved or who chairs the committee contacts preschools, and pretty much from year to year they're the same ones, and asks if they want to have their children screened for hearing. And they set up a date, and then she has a sign-up sheet for volunteers. So we've been trained on how to use the audiometers. It's a headphone, and then three little beeps come out where the child can hear, and if they can hear it, they raise their hand, and if they can hear it, then they're good to go, and we let them be. And if they can't hear it, we used to come back and do another screening, because sometimes they've got a cold or what have you. This year we said we're not going to come back, but if they don't hear well or they're missing several of the tones, then District 11 will provide them with an appointment to see the audiologist and get further screening. But we have identified several children with hearing problems, and so we feel very good about that. They're little teddy bears about this big, and they have a little vest on, and it's got our AL insignia. We have in the past given them to Memorial Hospital to be used in the emergency room for when children come in a traumatic situation. Maybe they've been in a car wreck and things are pretty wonky. Maybe they have cancer and they're being treated. Whatever the situation, we also give them to assault survivors, and they've got them in the room because sometimes a child is with mom and the kid's pretty rattled and they give them a teddy bear. We were giving away a lot of bears, and COVID came, and then for the whole first year we didn't give away anything, and we had a delivery come in, so we have bears out the yin yang. We'd like to find some people who want some bears. Halloween Wishes was started probably 25 years ago by a member who felt like children were not, there are certain aspects, there's certain kids that don't have the money to afford to go out and buy a costume. And she would wait till the end of the season and buy costumes for really inexpensive, and kept a variety, and then took them to, I think it was Queen Palmer Elementary, and then handed them out to the children that needed them. Well, she did it for probably 20 years by herself, And then she was part of our membership, but never asked for anyone else to help her. So when she resigned, we felt like these philanthropies need to have more than one person involved. That, most of us join the organization so that we can see our finances in action or the hours that we spend in action. So we got a committee together and someone to lead the group. So for the last 2 or 3 years, we couldn't do it during COVID, obviously. But last year, this past October, she kind of had a party. She had candy to give out, and they had it at we have another building at 318 Cimarron, and it was kind of an open door. The counselors at school could come and choose some costumes that they thought the children would enjoy. And so we got rid of our whole inventory, and the membership has stocked it back up again. Sweet Dreams is the mattress and box springs and bedding. It used to be Urban Peak, and now it's the place. We sort of use them as a monitor, and they will have children or teens leaving their program, going into apartments, and at that point they'll let us know. We give the teens a mattress and box springs and a frame, and then the bedding to fit the bed. Primarily we give double beds because everybody feels that that's more comfortable to sleep on. So the beds are delivered to wherever the child or the young adult is going to be living, and that's it. And we get cards. They send thank you cards. I think that whoever's involved with the program at the place insists that the kids write a thank you note. And it's very interesting because you'll get a note. She provides the cards. They can barely put down a sentence. Thank you for the beds. I've never had one before. And then you're just, your heart just does a flip-flop because you think, wow, never had a bed before. So we feel really good about that. It doesn't involve a huge number of us, but it feels good to know that the kids are getting something out of it. Helping Neighbors was originally set up. It's sort of dormant at the moment. It was originally set up because we had homeless people that may have been hospitalized for this or that, and they were leaving the hospital, and while they were in the hospital, all their stuff might have been gone, confiscated, thrown away, discarded, and they needed stuff. So then we would give them a $10 voucher that they could come and use at the bargain box. Well, the organization that was responsible for being the go-between went out of business, and so we were stuck not being able to interface with the hospital. So what we're doing now is using that program to give the kids at the place, when they get bedding, we're actually giving them 2 $10 gift certificates for the bargain box. So our thinking was we can only give new bedding to the kids, but we have used sheets and towels, things that you'd use in your apartment, pots and pans, dishes, flatware. So with the money that we give them, or the gift certificates, they could come in here and augment their stuff, their home. There's 2 large bins with bagged items. We go through all the clothing and things that come in, and if, let's say, there's a stain, sometimes you'll get a t-shirt with stains, or they've used it to garden and it's ripped and torn and it's in bad shape. Well, there's another pod out here, a smaller pod, and we got the information from the Denver Assistance League. They collect any usable cloth items to make rags and send them to third world countries. So stuff that's torn and stained, instead of just throwing it in the trash, we put it in a bag and give it to them. And we also do the veterans of the Vietnam War. They come once a week and pick up discards. I think they have a store like our thrift store. Anyway, we give household goods and clothing to them. So that's part of in the bag. We're trying not to we're trying not to throw anything away. I mean, occasionally you get something that's clearly broken, and you look at it and you think this needs to go in the trash. But by and large, we try to recycle everything so somebody gets use out of it. United Way is a rather new partnership since COVID. They went out and did some research trying to figure out how to help school children, and they were running into everything saying school bell, school bell, school bell. We were like, wow, that's awesome. You think nobody knows who you are until you hear school bell come up, and I don't know that they associate it necessarily with Assistance League, because it tends to be a standalone, people know that. But when they saw school bell come up in their research, then they contacted Marcia. She was here a few minutes ago, but you haven't met her. She's our volunteer who's in charge of school bell. And she and I went over and talked to them, and they said, we really want to partner with somebody. We want to collect coats and give them to you to distribute. And we were like, awesome. It's easy to distribute when you have all the stuff. Yeah, we had a card from a gentleman. I think it was before COVID, and he had his daughter, who at the time was quite young. They'd been in an automobile accident or something, and she was at the hospital and was given a bear. Well, they were in the military and had traveled around quite a bit, and this is like maybe 8 years later, and she has this bear, but the bear is falling apart and all tattered, and he wrote and said, my daughter just loves this bear. Is there any chance that we could get another bear? So, stories like that, you feel really good that if that bear has been carried around for 8 years and she's basically it's destroyed, hey, we can give you another bear. So stuff like that. One child that we screened for hearing had a tumor behind his ear, and his hearing in one ear was really blocked. So we turned him in and said, he needs further screening. And then when he went to the audiologist, they found the tumor and were able to treat him. So, stuff like that really does your heart good. Well, we have what we call community volunteers, people who can come in and work in the back of the house that are not members of Assistance League. Maybe they want to sort books. Maybe they want to work back here. She's sizing clothing and putting the little thing on with the colored dot. They cannot work. They can work on the floor, but they can't work with the money. So if they're not a member. So typically it would be back here, and they can be a bit more independent. And we have probably anywhere from 8 to 15 community volunteers. Sometimes the community volunteer comes in and works and sees what we do and then decides they want to be a member. And other times people don't want the commitment of having to do it on a certain schedule, so they want to just be a community volunteer. But we can do that. Fun fair, and except during the COVID year, we do fun fair. We have it at the Shrine Club, which is over on 31st Street up above the Safeway. It's it's open to the public. Obviously, a lot of our members go. This year we did a little different format. In the past, we've had a sit-down luncheon, and then we've had other things going on. We've had a boutique that you could buy clothing, and we've had these baskets I mentioned, and baked goods and so forth around the edge. Well, this year, because of COVID, we thought maybe we don't want to serve a meal. Maybe there'll be people that are too hung up on COVID to feel comfortable. So we just had a sales bazaar, and instead of having tables in the center of the room, we now had space that we could showcase more items, and everything came from here. We had baked goods. We made $1,700 on baked goods. And we had some antiques. We had clothing. We picked out the best of the best and had it there so women could come in. Oh, look at the jacket I bought. We had a couple of furs that had been donated. We had a Christmas section with lots of Christmas decorations, and you could buy an arrangement that sat on a coffee table or in the middle of your dining room table. We had toys for children that we get a lot of toys come in. So you could go buy something for a tenth of what it would cost you at a department store. This particular group is aging, and you'll hear people say, well, I can't do it anymore. I can't stand on my feet for 4 hours in the bargain box. So we don't seem to attract younger women. The millennials seem to want to give in a different way. So I don't know. In 5 years, are we going to be phased out, or will other people come and fill the shoes where necessary so that the chapter can continue? And that's across the nation. I mean, some of the chapters have that assist teens that I mentioned and have the auxiliary for the women who are working, but by and large, the chapters are made up of women our age, so it's a problem seen across the nation. It's just everybody works. The women are awesome. They have fabulous ideas. This is like a job. These women work like they were at a job, and nobody takes home a paycheck. It's really awesome.